Thank you for being here. It's so exciting to see your faces. As always, we like to start our day with a land acknowledgement. So I'd like to welcome Norma Contreras to please come to the stage and talk with us about Strong-Hearted Native Women's Coalition.
Thank you. My name's Norma Contreras. Natum Miuam Norma Contreras. I'm from the La Jolla Band of Luiseño Indians. I am Payokamwicham, Mojave, and Ipai. Payokamwicham means people of the West. Mojave is from Arizona, and Ipai Nation is from San Diego County. And I am a tribal member of the La Jolla Band of Luiseño Indians. So I would like to do a land acknowledgement, and this represents the people that were currently here on the land. So we are on the traditional homelands of the Tongva Gabrielino peoples who lived and thrived on the land since time immemorial. The Tongva people have inhabited the 4,000 square mile region we call Tavangar, known today as the Greater Los Angeles Basin. The natural ancestral boundaries are from the Santa Susana Mountains to the north, Aliso Creek to the south, the San Bernardino Mountains to the east, and the Pacific Ocean to the west, including the 4 channel islands of Santa Catalina, San Clemente, Santa Barbara, and San Nicolas. We keep the Tongva people in our hearts and minds as we gather here today. So my organization that I come from, I'm a case manager, is called Strong-Hearted Native Women's Coalition. We work to bring awareness against sexual assault, domestic violence, dating violence, stalking, sex trafficking, and murdered and missing within tribal communities in California. Our organization assists all the way throughout California for Indian tribes. So we work from San Diego all the way up to the Yurok tribes in Northern California. The purpose of our coalition is to enhance the capacity of survivors, advocates, victim organizations, and victim service providers to end violence against women and families in American Indian and Alaska Native people. The goal of our organization is to increase their approachability to improve systematic and community responses to victims. We raise awareness, educate, and provide technical assistance, training, and supportive services for victims, including cultural and unique barriers facing Native Americans. So some of the services that we provide are our Kicha shelter program. This program is Kicha meaning our house. We have 4 shelters, 2 in San Diego County, East and North County, 1 in Riverside County, and then 1 in San Bernardino County. We provide legal assistance for our clients, whether it's restraining orders, going to court, assistance with child cases, child abuse, child neglect, anything like that. We will provide services, and we work with California Indian Legal Services. And then I am also a board trustee for California Indian Legal Services, so I assist with that as well. Some of the trainings that we do are technical assistance. So we will provide training for tribal cultural sensitive training. If other organizations, other advocates need assistance, we can provide that assistance as well to help them going through the shelter program, going through advocacy, going through any assistance that they need. We provide that technical assistance. The trainings that we provide are cultural understanding, working with tribal populations. So this helps with anyone that is working with other tribal people on how to work with them, knowing their background, being cultural sensitive, and then being able to help guide them in a healthier way. Our tribal trauma-informed curriculum, that we usually use with law enforcement. So that way when they're dealing with or working with our clients, they're more sensitive to understanding different issues that come up within the tribal communities, because a lot of times some things they don't understand, whether it's ceremony, whether it's the way that we raise our children or the things that we do, they need to understand that there's a reason why the things are that they are. So this is my contact information. If you would like to get any training or assistance for any of your programs, or if you have any shelters or anything that you need for technical assistance or training, we would be willing and love to help those in need. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Norma, for sharing about the important work that Strong-Hearted Native Women's Coalition is doing in California. We greatly appreciate you taking the time to speak with us. Good morning, everybody. I am Stacy Swanby, BRIC's Director of Events, so I may have been emailing with you. You probably saw me running around with my clipboard. But I would like to thank NBC Universal for hosting us today, and I would like to introduce Michael Barrett of NBC. A UK native, Michael is the Senior Manager of Marketing for Universal Talent Development and Inclusion. Welcome, Michael.
Thank you, Stacy. So good morning, I'm Michael Barrett, part of the studio's Universal Talent Development and Inclusion team led by Brandon Williams. And on behalf of everyone at NBC Universal, we'd like to welcome you all to the historic Universal Studios lot. So, inspired by more than a century of filmmaking, we sit inside the Commons, an 84,000 square foot circular building with a lenticular facade, which was inspired by a zoetrope. Invented in 1834, this pre-film animation device created the illusion of motion by displaying a sequence of still images through slits in a rotating cylinder, and is the origins of moving pictures. This building is the heart of our lot, our gathering place to enjoy a bite to eat, meet with colleagues and friends, and screen content, as well as hosting special events for our partners and guests, just like BRIC today. Comcast NBC Universal is truly investing in its people and its infrastructure. We dare to ask the question, can a space really inspire? And to the entire Comcast NBC Universal leadership team, the answer is a resounding yes. Each element we've curated to transform a traditional studio lot to an urban campus is designed with the vision and strategic planning to inspire innovation and creativity amongst our employees, their industry partners, and the community at large. It's why we're so thrilled to act as the host sponsor of this year's event. This spirit of creativity and innovation is evident in everything BRIC puts together. Thank you all so much for coming. We hope you have a productive and inspiring day at BRIC. And please don't forget to scan the QR code on the hand sanitizers in your gift bags to follow along and join Universal TDI on social media. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Okay, welcoming back up Nicole Hendricks and Allison Mann, the co-founders of the BRIC Foundation.
Hello. Thank you all so much for being here today. We really look forward to this time together every year. There's lots of, faces that have been here since 2019, and there's lots of new faces here today. So thank you for joining our think tank and sharing your wonderful brains with us. For those of you that don't know, BRIC focuses on getting women and people from underrepresented groups into entertainment, media, and tech. We do this through many ways. We have the first registered apprenticeship program for animation, visual effects, and gaming. Thank you to many of our employer partners that are here today. Thank you so much for giving people opportunities. We also do a lot of high school pre-apprenticeship pathways. You might notice today there's going to be some wonderful high schoolers from Lusinger High School here on one of our pre-apprenticeship schools taking footage, so please be kind and smile for them. Thank you so much for being here. And there are so many people that come together to put this event on. We have an amazing steering committee that we start working in July on a lot of these topics. And speakers and all of the things are welcome to our advisory board, our board members, our wonderful staff. Thank you, Stacy, for putting all this together with us. We really appreciate you, our Director of Comms, Sarah, and all of our High Road Training Partnership partners that are here today. For those of you that don't know, BRIC is part of the Arts, Media, Entertainment High Road Training Partnership with the California Workforce Development Board and Department of Economic Opportunity. We are a group of registered apprenticeship programs, union training partners, and community-based organizations that together are trying to provide 495 jobs and placements throughout LA County. Thank you to our employer partners that are contributing in those goals today, and for everybody here that is mentoring or teaching or working to really increase employment pathways into the industry. When I'm explaining the summit, because bringing it back to the summit and why you're all here today, I like to explain that this is a day where get shit done people come together to whiteboard and focus on solutions about how we can improve DEIA and the different challenges that our industry faces. And yeah, so with that, I realized I just got distracted because I have too many cards. I never use cards. And it's gone.
She said they're sexy.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for spending your morning with us.
Yes.
There we go.
I'm a little shorter than you. So the other morning, I was driving my kids to school. They're 9. And I was giving them a pep talk about growth mindset. I told them, you are what you believe you are. If you wake up every day telling yourself that you're not good enough, that you can't do something, that change is impossible, then that becomes your belief and your reality. It shapes your narrative. But what if we flipped it? What if instead, every morning, we told ourselves something different, something bold, something powerful? What if we woke up and said, I'm capable of enacting change. I'm resilient and can persevere. With a combined effort and community, I can make impact. This year, our theme is Emerge. And I tell you this story because, let's be honest, our work is evolving, and so is the world around us. It's no secret that we're facing obstacles. Politics, policies, and power structures are shifting beneath our feet, sometimes in ways that make progress feel like an uphill battle. And I don't know about you, but there have been moments where I've woken up and questioned whether what we do is truly making a difference. That the narrative of it's too hard to change, it is too slow, can be tempting to believe. But the truth is, we are in a pivotal moment. And in this moment, we have a choice. We can lean into the limiting narrative, or we can rewrite a new narrative together.
Yes. Willow, can you maybe take us back to our key art, speaking of new narratives? I'm going to throw cards at you all. For those of you that don't know, I come from marketing, and let me tell you, this super happy, cute, beautiful key art from CSU Long Beach's Amy Dong has been killing me. You know?
Not the killing part.
No, beautiful art, beautiful art.
Beautiful art.
We did this back in September, where we were manifesting a slightly more hopeful world for DEI in the summit this year. But this year's theme is Emerge, and nothing says emerge like caterpillars and butterflies, right? Prior to all of this, I thought that very hungry caterpillars found a nice plant to build their cocoon, and then after a long sleep, they sprout their wings in this beautiful act of metamorphosis and go on to live a bigger life that they could never have imagined. Wrong. Caterpillars are actually super metal. As soon as they go into their cocoon, they literally dissolve their bodies and turn into complete goo. Like, the caterpillar is not the butterfly, different creatures. But they have this thing called imaginal discs inside of them, which is all the instructions and all of the guidance that they need to rebuild their bodies and build those wings. So they're just crawling around all over the place with those instructions, right? And it takes this devastating, life-altering chrysalis event for the caterpillar to be able to emerge from the goo with this new life of purpose. Metamorphosis is often ugly and painful, and we're in the middle of it. If only true change could be as efficient and painless as a movie makeover montage, such is life, right? Planning the summit has been very challenging this year. The landscape seems to shift almost every day. And with the help of our steering committee, we've been able to try to navigate this best for you and make sure that these questions that we're going to be solving today are going to be the most impactful. For those of you that don't know, we're all building the findings together today. There's going to be 4 workshops where you'll have different groups. We'll go into more instructions later, but we're all trying to solve. Those are going to be gathered and given back. So thank you for collectively talking about that.
So let's concentrate on what we do best every year and continue to break, reinvent, impact, and change so we can emerge through this period of rollback together. That was pretty good, guys. That was pretty good. All right, so let's get this day started. Please help me welcome to their stage our inspiring keynote speakers, Denise Woodley and Will Miles.
Oh, great. All right. Oh, the
Hello.
mics. We need mics.
First, give it up for BRIC. Cole and Allison. Hello.
Hi, everyone.
You guys are doing great stuff. Thank you.
And, to the entire BRIC team, Nicole, Allison, Stacy, everyone for convening this summit and facilitating these conversations today.
Before we get started, also, I'd like to just, the question on everyone's mind, I'd like to solve it. Lenticular means in the shape of a lentil. I know you were all probably looking that up, but I looked it up, so. Thank you for using that word.
So fun fact to know and tell. So Will is a comedy writer.
I am. I'm a comedy writer. That's the hat I wear. I don't know what we're saying. I used to be a comedian for years. I have a Comedy Central special back when that was a network. And, it's unseen because Paramount, who knows where it is. But I love Paramount, by the way. But I would like my special to be out there. But anyway, I did comedy, and then I write for TV. I'm writing a movie as we speak, and I'm for Paramount, by the way. And I'm so I love them. And I also write for a show called Love It or Leave It about politics with John Lovett as the host, former Obama speechwriter. And let me tell you, things aren't good in politics. You're also accomplished. Why don't you list some of your...
Well, thank you, Will. I mean, it's interesting because in this conversation about DEI today, like Will has the creative's perspective, and as you can tell from the difference in the way we're dressed, I'm extremely corporate. So I am the principal and founder of Able Advisors, and that is a people and culture consultancy. So I work with organizations on how they can develop and enhance like sustainable and productive workforce dynamics and workplace culture and integrate the two. And prior to that, I've been pretty much everything corporate. I'm a lawyer, so, there's that. Yeah, shout out to lawyers everywhere. And then I was a business affairs executive. I worked on this lot, which is very different than it was back in the day. And I have also been a people operations executive in the entertainment industry. And so that gives us some interesting perspectives, I think, on where DEI is today. Will, how are you feeling? How are you feeling?
I feel okay.
Okay.
Keynotes are supposed to be inspiring. I feel like things will be good. Mm-hmm. You can look at the news every day and be like, things aren't great, obviously. I think delusion is key, and I think it's good to be delusional and crazy as a creative. Obviously not as a president, but as a creative, it's good to be delusional and crazy because, you're around people constantly who are delusional when you are a creative, and you're just like, is that really going to happen? And then I've been around it long enough to see the sense of delusion turn into fruition, turn into Abbott Elementary, turn into the Carmichael Show. It's like these people 10 years ago were like, I'm going to make it. And everyone, like people around them could be like, you know, it's very hard, which is fine because that's correct. But you can't listen to that because everything's hard. This is a ridiculous industry to even be in the first place. So the fact that you're even taking any steps towards it means you're already delusional and crazy. So don't fight that. Just go with it. And then, you know, I've seen it work out for a number of people. And so I feel like always calling back to that makes me feel good every day, you know. I also have a daughter. She's adorable. So she gave me a kiss on the cheek before I left. So I'm feeling good from that. How are you feeling?
That gives you hope, right?
Yeah.
I am feeling really motivated right now. Like I went through like my stages of like, oh my gosh, we're like under attack and all of that. And I've emerged from that feeling super motivated and kind of professionally lit in this moment.
Yes.
And I feel that way because, you know, Allison mentioned earlier, you know, that sometimes she, you know, wonders, is what we're doing actually doing anything or working? And I 100% believe that it is, because if it wasn't, it would not be under attack.
Exactly.
So in a way, what is happening right now is a testament to the power and the impact of all of the work that us in this room and many other people who are not in this room are still committed to, like have done and are still committed to doing. So that's how I'm feeling right now.
That's
like
good.
I think this administration doesn't know what it has woken up, really.
Yes.
But that's how I'm feeling. Mm-hmm.
When you try to take away education, you're going to get a lot of smart motherfuckers responding. So
Yeah. True words. True words.
So I hope they know that. They just want to grow their voting base. Anyway. Yeah. So diversity is DEIA, which used to be called something else when I was a kid. We won't go back to that. But I mean, also, it says NAACP. Obviously, that's an old term too. CP is. It wouldn't work if we tried to keep updating it. The point is diversity, equity, inclusion, right? And then what's the A?
Accessibility.
Accessibility. I knew that. I was testing you. That's what we do up here. So we're asking, what does that mean to us? You know, for me, it's a thing that just allows, I mean, speaking of access, it allows access. It does not mean unqualified, obviously. It means just you're getting looked at in a way that you wouldn't have got looked at before. And so I feel like you could say that about me in any way, shape, or form, but also as someone who used to do stand-up comedy and book a show, I used to run the Knitting Factory show in Brooklyn for like 5 years. We took it over from Hannibal Buress, and then we ran it. And the thing is, me and my buddies were not as famous as Hannibal, so we had to do different things. So part of that is making sure somebody on the lineup reflects somebody in the audience. So if you have a stand-up show with multiple people on it and it's all white dudes, it's probably not a good stand-up show. And nobody wants to see that. Nobody's coming back to that. You can do it once, but nobody's going to come back to it. So our rule was, you know, we go search for a comedian who is from everything. Like we have a comedian in a wheelchair. We have a trans comedian. We have a black comedian, a white comedian, a queer, non-binary comedian. Because somebody in the audience might be that. And they need somebody who can tell their story in a hilarious way. So that's part of what I always view it as, is like the world is not a monolith. To make entertainment or anything that's visual or anything in general, make it all one thing, you're not really growing your audience. You're not, and the point of this is growth and change. And it's like, yeah, well, you're not doing any growth. So to me, it's just a smart way to do business, is to diversify and just make sure that think about it, if you only focus on white dudes, I don't know the percentage because I don't do math, but there's a certain amount of white dudes in the world. And if you expand that to mean everybody, you're probably going to get a packed-ass audience. And we sold out every show for 5 straight years because of that strategy. So it's like, just literally inclusion helps you. So I don't know why you wouldn't include more people when you do anything as far as commerce or interactions or relationships. It's just a smart move as a business.
100%.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a strategically intelligent business strategy. And that is, I mean, even if you just think about it in the most like pecuniary like sense, right? Like you actually achieve like better business outcomes, right? That lead to like higher revenue generation, greater productivity, better decision making. Business leaders know that all of that comes with a more diverse populace in the workforce. And they also know that in order for your workforce to feel, to be able to produce their best work, they need to feel belong, they need to feel included, right? And so this is why, like, from my perspective and from where I sit in the conversations that I'm having, like, commitment to inclusion is not going away. Commitment to diversity and having a diverse workforce isn't going away. But what is going away is the era of window dressing DEI, right? Like DEI where it's like we've just got these statistics and we're just trying to like make numbers, and basically DEI processes, programs, policies that looked great for the gram and looked great in your annual report, but didn't actually make any substantive impact really in the long run, like those are going to go away. And I think what we're seeing now are organizations basically taking a very close look at their policies and practices, and some of them are going away, but the ones that are going away, it seems to me like they're the window dressing ones.
Yes.
And the ones that are remaining are programs and policies that actually have like substantive impact and are legal, because to be honest, like let's be honest, there were some of these programs should not have been designed the way they were, right? There, you know, we do have a Civil Rights Act, and there is a Title VII under it, and there is a, you know, equal opportunity clause under the 14th Amendment to the Constitution. And some of these practices, while extremely well-meaning, did not exactly conform to the law. So those are the ones that I think are going away. But we need to become, as we continue to do this work, we continue to partner with organizations that are employing diverse talent. We need to be, and those organizations need to become much more intentional, much more specific, much more mindful of nuance when we talk about the work that we do. We talk about why it's important. We talk about the impact that it has on good business, on good society, on good creative culture. So
Well said.
That's what I'm thinking.
Hell yeah. So don't be Target. Anyway, but
Don't be Target.
Target failed us. That was 2020 was a very cursory, use of DEIA. But yeah, no, I agree with everything you said. Yeah. It's we could. I can't say anything better than that. So anyway, what does that mean? Proactive, not reactive. We have to do the changes ourselves. I agree with that. I mean, like you said, it's better business practice. It just takes simple doing the work, finding out who is creative, who is talented. As like, shout out to NBC Universal. I don't usually big up a big corporation, but they did the work. They're doing the work continuously, and there's a lot of other networks who are not, and studios who are not, who had the first version that you talked about, and they took it away immediately. And so you can't, I think you have to give it up for people who actually do it. So give it up for NBC Universal. It's good. And I think that's a model of how everybody should be. I mean, if you have any influence in the world, you should be looking at people who don't have the same reach. I keep going back. This morning I was watching Tyler, the Creator, was being interviewed, and he said something about how social media is very necessary nowadays. I have to use it. I hate it, but I have to use it undeniably as a creative, and it's just part of the job now. It's 2025. You can't be a relic from the past. You have to actually use the things that are in front of you now. So I use social media as that, and he talked about using it as a resume. And so that's something I wanted to make sure everybody knows. Like, it is a resume. You don't have to put your personal shit up there. I personally don't. You've never once seen my daughter on my account, because it's work. It's part of my job. I'm a creative, and the social media is part of my job. And so I use it as part of my job. So I put an article up there the other day. It got 70 likes. It's not a lot. But, you know, it's one of my favorite things I've ever written, and it's very personal to me. So it's also a reflection of my talent. So, like, he was saying, he found this guy, Jordan Ward, who has a song called Fam Jam 4000, one of my favorite songs out right now. He saw one of his videos when it had, like, 100 likes. And then Tyler just posted on his account, I like this song. And the guy got a record deal, number top 100 song, all this other shit happened to him. Rex Orange County is the same. He put him on his album because he saw a video that had 30 likes. And he was like, this guy's good. Why does he only have 30 likes? Invited him to LA, put him on his album. Guy now has his own record deal album. So it's like, if you have any influence, like even me, I have these clips from the show After Midnight that I'm collaborated with. And so those get like 20,000 likes. So if I see some shit I like for me, it's stand-up usually. And I'll see a stand-up who has like 10 likes on a view on one of their things, and I repost it. It's as simple as that, as reposting it if you have the influence and being like, this is good. So I think if we all do that, you never know who's watching, was his point, and it's my point too. That is your resume, and you never know who's watching it, so just put your best stuff out there, and then that's going to just keep working at it. And that doesn't necessarily have to do with diversity, equity, and inclusion, I guess, but it is like, it's part of the delusion and crazy I was talking about earlier. It seems crazy to post something with 30 likes and be proud of it, but do it. Because you never know who's watching, you never know who could pull you up. And it's up to other people to make sure they're pulling up people of different backgrounds so that you can be like, well, I've never seen a trans person tell this joke, I'm posting this. And now you also have this knowledge that this trans person's funny. You're not going to go out there and be like Chappelle or anything. So you're going to be like actually watching funny people and pushing them up, which I think is important for everyone with any influence to do.
Mm-hmm. I think that like on the, agreed.
Nice.
Agreed. I think that on this, you know, the topic of individual, you know, like as in this situation we find ourselves now, like the responsibility that we all have, right, as individuals to sort of keep moving this work forward. You know, in the olden times, right, I think that a lot of folks looked to, you know, the HR departments, right, of like, you know, major studios and, you know, creative shops, et cetera, to like do the lion's share essentially of this work. And I think it's part of the reason why we're also very focused on like what, you know, they're saying now, right? Like what the studios are saying now about their commitment to this work. But I feel like it's a real call for everyone, whether you're in a studio, whether you're independent, whether you're, you know, working at a nonprofit that partners with studios, whether you're an NGO, whatever circle of influence you may have, it is incumbent on all of us to not expect anyone else to be responsible for doing this work for us. And so, like you said, like we're all responsible also for like doing what we can to like lift people up. And I also think that now more than ever, private sector and like nonprofit partnerships, now that the private sector is under such incredible scrutiny by this administration on their programs and might become more limited in terms of what they are able to do, I think that this is an amazing opportunity for organizations like BRIC, for organizations like EIF, which I sit on the board of, that partners with BRIC. On pipeline programs and introducing talent and talented individuals from underrepresented, historically underrepresented groups to the entertainment business and introducing like the entertainment corporate business to those individuals. It's super important that nonprofit organizations and for-profit, you know, employers essentially have a much stronger, like just a much stronger partnership and a real opportunity for nonprofits to really like step up and maybe step into some areas where because of the scrutiny, the corporations maybe cannot do things in-house the way they used to.
Yeah, I mean, the things that are being, you know, kind of stripped away are like, it's going to start getting really stupid soon. So it's like, yeah, it is on our responsibility. It does seem like every day I wake up, there's a thing where it's like, you can't do that today. And it's like, I can't walk outside. Like, what the fuck? But yeah, it's just the Department of Education is the one that really, I guess, made me more pissed than anything, because it is, like I don't know, it's just so important. My brother you can look him up, Fresh Professor. He's doing a lot to change curriculum to adapt to the students' needs, as opposed to just the rote history lessons we get constantly, which I didn't learn anything from when I was in elementary school. And so I look at stuff like that, and I'm like, that takes creativity and art, and that's how kids learn a lot of times. Miss Rachel's not popular because she's so educational. She is educational, but she's popular because she's fun to watch. And the same as my daughter loves, what's her name, Gabby's World? Or what? I forget Gabby's Dollhouse, and then there's Gracie's Corner. Those songs fucking slap. And and she learns so much because she's listening to it with like a soca beat behind it or something like that. And I'm like, yeah, it's a good ass song. So she'll come with some knowledge the next day. And that kind of stuff is the stuff that's under attack. And that's so weird, because it's like, that's helping the world. Why would you take things that are helping the world away? And that seems like what they're trying to do. And so I think being an individual is very important right now. Being yourself, your true self, is very important right now. And I think all of that is its own sort of rebellion. And I think it's all that we can do, really, is just make sure we're following our hearts more. And like, that is its own sort of rebellion. And art in itself is just like, what do you actually want to do? Do that. Don't worry about what people want now, because that shit's dead. Like, studios want this, they want that. It's like, they don't want anything until you've made something that they like. I knew Alana Glazer when I lived in New York, and she tried to sell Broad City to like 12 networks, and none of them bought it. But she believed, and then eventually got sold, and now you know who Alana Glazer is. But before that, you didn't. And so I'm just, the people I'm around, I'm very gracious and thankful for the universe or God or whatever, that I'm around these people, because I'm able to see it. And a lot of times, if I don't know the person, I'll look up a YouTube interview with them and be like, how did they get where they are? What failures did they, encounter before they got big? And it's always something. That's the thing. Everybody has a story. So I think failure is just an opportunity to learn. And I think this is a moment where our country is failing, but it's also an opportunity for our country to learn. It's a lot of failure going on right now, but a lot of learning.
Yeah. And I guess the only other thing I'd add to that is, like, that's why, like, this is why I think that ultimately, like, the DEI movement is going to emerge victorious, right? Like, we can't dial back how diverse the country has become.
Yeah.
Like, you can't, like, consumers of anything, right? Like, it's not homogenous anymore. It's not a homogenous monolith. And, especially when it comes to the creative arts, the content is the thing that reminds us of our, like, shared connective tissue. It's the thing that reminds us of this shared experience of being human. And I find I cannot believe that a movement to make the expression of creativity more homogenous, less inclusive, like less aware of like what the world and society looks like, it's just not, practically speaking, it just cannot be successful. And so I view this as a very annoying 4-year period, right?
Without war, but
that's only going to make us stronger, to be honest. And it's going to make, I think at the end of all of this, we will be seeing inclusion and diversity programs that are substantive in terms of their outcomes, in terms of their processes, and are like really stronger than ever. And hopefully we'll have just sort of made them no-brainers, if that makes sense. Like, if that, it just be part of the fabric that people will be like, why did anyone ever question that? That's so weird.
Yeah, especially when they fired a black guy who had like incredible amounts of medals to hire a guy who'd never done the job before. It's them believing that diversity is not as good. I think the thing I always go back to, and I would feel remiss if I didn't get it out, is that Lorraine Hansberry in college, I had a teacher who told me a Lorraine Hansberry quote where she said, specificity is the key to universality. It's my favorite quote in the world, and it's how I write, and I think it's how everyone should do anything creative, because a lot of I hear a lot of criticisms online about certain black shows. They made this for white people, and I think that is bad. I don't think you should make your show for anybody but you. And so I think that is the most, tell your story as specific as you can, and I guarantee other people will understand it. Because that's the stand-up comedy I was just talking about. All those stand-up comedians got so specific with their own life story. And even if I'm not in that category, I completely get it because they told me what their life is like to a T and made it funny. And I'm like, I get it now. Whereas I wouldn't have got it if it was just like random cursory things that they were like, let's get the straight guy to understand us. It's like, no, I don't need that. Tell me your actual story, and I'll probably get it because we're all humans, and I understand I understand humanity. Mm-hmm. So that's my favorite quote. I just wanted to say it before we move any further.
I think the clock has struck midnight for us, friend. I think it has. So, I mean, listen, I don't know about you, Will, but I'm really looking forward to these conversations today and really looking forward to taking our perspectives on this work and how we bob and weave, how we adjust, and how we can emerge victorious. You know, I'm
absolutely
looking forward to these conversations today.
I do too, and I'm at Mr. Will Miles on Instagram. I will repost anything you do, probably. So we're all doing the work. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone.
And we're on. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you both. From the moment, oh, sorry, we are in stage choreography and I'm gonna get out of the way. All right. Thank you both so much for sharing your perspectives with us. I think that's exactly the tone that we'd like to set today, right? Of like hopeful solution, moving forward, this work matters. I also joke that the summit exists because it's the one time a year I get to force all of you to look at research. Win your tote bags, you'll actually see quite a few one-sheets with QR codes of different research reports that have come out this year that I think are very important and impactful for our work. For those of you that don't know, Adam Fowler from Civil Economics is one of the leading minds dissecting the creative economy and where it's been, where it's going. He's a core partner. Pay him to do research.